This is Politics Counts, and I'm Tim Hearn. This is the premiere inaugural show of this particular newscast. We decided to come together and do a newscast to help the press keep our government officials' business transparent so that we know what they're doing in our name, they being our employees. So we figured we considered it appropriate to start this newscast coinciding with the presidency of Donald J. Trump, which started on Friday. He took the oath of office on Friday, had all the celebrations therein over the weekend. It is Monday morning, and we're glad you joined us. So for the first show, what we want to do is just kind of bring everything up to a certain point so we know where we're at and where we stand. So where we at is the third day of President Trump's presidency, Donald J. Trump's presidency. It was highly contested, highly protested. People poured into the streets protesting it. There was some argument over the numbers of protesters versus the numbers of people attending the inauguration. Since then, Sean Spicer, who is Donald J. Trump's press secretary, the White House press secretary, came out and told six statements, and 5 statements, and 4 of those were proven as lies. So for his very first engagement with the press as the White House press secretary, it fell flat, and he's being called on to resign by more than one other government official. Kellyanne Conway coming on Meet the Press, talking with Chuck Todd, trying to explain Sean's statements, said that some facts were presented by the press, and the White House presented alternative facts. So let's consider that term the term of the weekend, alternative facts. Thankfully, Chuck Todd held Kelly Conway's feet to the fire and said alternative facts are basically falsehoods. So how did they feel about their first interaction with the press, being confrontational and being full of falsehoods? So there was that little to do. We understand that. What we really believe is going on is, well, we want to keep our eyes on the ball. There's an ethics experts dropped a lawsuit this morning, Monday morning, on considering Trump and his violation of the Emoluments Clause with gifts he's receiving from foreign governments, mainly considering tenant and landlord situations in Washington, D.C. particularly, I believe. And also, he's being investigated by 5 intelligence agencies that have came together, and authority agencies like FBI and CIA came together to investigate 4 members of Team Trump having contact with Russia. Those 4 members are Carter Page, I believe, Paul Manafort. Now we know it was Michael Flynn, who's the 4th person, and I believe that, or the 3rd person, we know he's the 4th, and the 3rd person I believe in that group was, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to state that. So we know that there are 4 team members of Trump being investigated for actual contact with Russian intelligence. What we do know through the dossier that was released by Christopher Steele to the FBI and eventually given to Donald Trump and given to, at the time, President Obama, we do know that has been released to the public. Once it would been given to public officials that are our representatives, the press felt it appropriate to release it, so they did. BuzzFeed released the whole dossier, got a lot of flack over it, and it's not really a dossier, it's a series of memos from an actual intel operator, Christopher Steele, who's in hiding now. But once it was released to our officials, to Donald J. Trump and to President Obama, the press released it, CNN reported on it saying none of this has been confirmed. Of course, they immediately came under fire by the administration saying that they were spreading lies and they were fake news. So we had to do with the fake news and CNN. CNN has held their guns to some extent, demanding the truth and not showing Sean Spicer's press conference on the news. So our job is to help the press be held accountable so that we can have a transparent view of what the government does. We're trying to be as nonpartisan as possible, but what our job is to investigate and look at and look under all the rocks of this administration. Why? Because they're the ones in power. So, that being the first show, I would like to welcome you to come back. Our reports will be more in depth. I wanted this one to be an introduction to what we do. We have no idea what the next story will be. We believe we'll get one out every day of the 5 work weeks, Monday through Friday. We will hold that schedule as long as it is possible. We have kind of a skeleton crew going here, and we're on a low budget. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate your insights and your comments, and we appreciate you sharing this on social media so that it gets spread, so that we can, as citizens of the United States and friends of all Americans, we want to be, really, to steal a phrase, the best we can be. And to do that, we have to tell the truth, and we have to hold each other accountable to the truth. So in light of that, and in that vein, we will do this as often, as honestly, as nonpartisanly, and as frequently as possible. So I appreciate your time, and you have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.